Don't fall into the parent trap. Don't fall into the parent trap. Good morning, everybody. It's time for Morning Manna. And this morning in our back to school series, part three, the parent trap. Part three, the parent trap. Welcome to Morning Manna. We're glad that you are part of our morning and that you permit me to have an impartation into your life on this morning in 5 minutes or less. I'm going to give you the text to talk and the takeaway and three things about the text. So glad that you are with me on this morning. Good morning, Angela. Good morning, Arlene. How are you all on this morning? What a wonderful morning. Just focusing in on back to school. Back to school. My children are grown and gone, and many of yours, I'm sure, as well. And don't have any grandchildren yet, Phoenicia, but that does not mean that I won't have some in the future. I pray so. And just want to deal with and talk about this whole thing about going back to school. Don't want to ever forget that. Don't ever want to forget that. A lot of stress, a lot of pressure, all of those kinds of things happening this week and for the semester and all of that. Whether it's college or kindergarten, it doesn't matter. It's back to school time. Well, let's get right into it. Get right into it. I'm going to give you the text to talk and the takeaway, 5 minutes or less. Please put your comments in the chat area, and so that everybody can get the cumulative effect of the revelation that you get. Let us know if it's your first, second, or third time joining us on this morning. The parent trap. The parent trap. Here is the text. 1 Samuel 1:22 and following. 1 Samuel 1:22 and following. She said, Hannah, we're talking about. She said to her husband, after the boy, talking about Samuel, is weaned, I will take him and present him before the Lord, and he will live there always. Let's give you the context of the text. You already know that Hannah could not have a child. Elkanah had a wife that was having children. Hannah could not have any children. And Elkanah's other wife that always would put that in her face, made her feel so bad about it. She found herself in the temple praying, and Eli saw her, thought she was drunk, insulted her. She says, no, Lord, it's not. I'm not. I didn't have much wine, didn't have any strong drink. The fact is, I want a child. When Elkanah realized that, she didn't catch an attitude. She went home under the blessing of the priest, and as the scripture says, then they had a child. Now, here is what took place when she had the child. The first thing I want you to grab a hold of is that she presented the child to God. She says, I'm presenting this child to God as a gift to God. Why? Because it is a gift from God. Children are a reward. It's a blessing. They are a gift from God. The psalmist says that anyone whose quill is full, meaning of the arrows, the symbols of children, to fling into the hearts of the enemy, they are exactly that, a gift, a present. So we present them back to God. We present them back to God. The second thing is this. You need to pray over your children. Remember now, Hannah in verse 20, she prayed. She was praying for a child. And she said, you know what, God, give me this child and I'll give this child back to you. She prayed for a child and she says, I asked God for him. And because I asked God for him, I'm going to continue to pray over him. Now, we already know that Samuel's story, Samuel later becomes the writer of this book. He later becomes the hand that lays on David. He later becomes both one of the most unusual situations of both priest and a prophet. Very different, but that's the result of her praying over and praying for her child, presenting her child to God. And here's the third thing. Hannah wasn't afraid to be a parent. If ever I have seen such fear in parenting and parents, is now. Parents, don't pretend being the parent. You are the parent. Let me say that one more time. I said it earlier in our prayer time, First Lady and I, as we prayed over children at our midweek morning prayer. And that is there bad children or bad parenting? Is there bad children or bad parenting? Be the parent. Pray over your child. Give your child back to the Lord in terms of bringing them to church and teaching them the word. What's your takeaway this morning? Your takeaway is this. Here is the parent trap. That's what we started with. The parent trap is when you try to be your children's friend instead of their parents. You're not their friend. You're their parent. You are the one that points them to authority and who God is in their lives. The Lord be with you today. His face shine upon you. Give it peace. Share the banner. If it bless you, bless somebody else. I'm going to continue with this whole piece of back to school. And we're going to continue to put a word and impart a word in your life. God bless you. Bye now.